world, the coin Ethereum or ETH has made millionaires and has made millions of dollars in profit. Bitcoin has made billionaires, has made people billionaires, and Bitcoin has made billions of dollars in profit. But what if I told you that there's a new coin in 2026 which is trying to recreate this process? Today we're talking about PulseChain. PulseChain, the famous coin created by Richard Hart. Today we're talking about PulseChain. Is it actually the future Ethereum? Is it actually gonna make millionaires, or is it just a common belief held by the people in the cryptoverse? So hold on to your horses and let's get started. So basically, PulseChain was created by Richard Hart 3 years ago. PulseChain is basically a decentralized exchange system. It's a decentralized ecosystem altogether. This was created by Richard Hart, this man, 3 years ago. PulseChain was created by Richard Hart 3 years ago as a decentralized version of Ethereum. Now, we all know Ethereum over here. Ethereum is, for slight side information, Ethereum is a place where you can buy, where you pay gas fees, you can buy coins, etc. It's an entire blockchain, it's an entire network. It's an entire network of coins. See, the internet belongs to you. So basically, it's a entire centralized CEX, centralized exchange or whatever. Richard Hart made PulseChain, which forked Ethereum, and they control their own finances. It is a decentralized exchange, the faster, smarter, energy efficient crypto network, decentralized, decentralized, censorship resistant, primed for growth. Take control of your own finances and future. This is PulseChain. PulseChain is a system where you take control of your own finances. It's forked off Ethereum, but it is like, it's, you could say, Richard Hart tried to create a better version of Ethereum. Why is it better, you might ask? Well, basically, PulseChain is created for faster transactions than Ethereum. It's created for lower fees than Ethereum. And the biggest part of PulseChain, which most people say, is that PulseChain has no owner. No owner means PulseChain, the community owns PulseChain. I may be thinking, how can this happen? Ethereum, let me explain you. Ethereum has an owner. The owner manages each other's wallets and wallets and the servers, etc., etc. In PulseChain, the owner Richard Hart is doesn't really own anything. He created it and he updates the website and the system. He updates the code. He doesn't update your wallet. You own your own coins. But before we dive into this topic, we need to know who Richard Hart is. Because we need to, before invest this common crypto knowledge, before investing into a project, we need to know the stability of the creator. We need to know who the creator is. We need to know if the creator is trustable. So let's go see who the creator is. Pulse Chain is created by Richard Hart. Richard Hart is one of the most controversial people in crypto. 50% of people say that he's a great person. 50% of people, however, say that he's a scammer. So it's divided and he's very controversial. Basically, he is a billionaire who is focused on making other people rich. That's his goal. And you might have not heard of him, you might not have heard of him, but you probably have heard of his project Hex. Hex is the biggest unicorn in the history of crypto. Hex is a coin which went 10,000x in the last 2 years. 10,000x in the last 2 years it went. For example, let me show you. If you, I'm gonna open the calculator over here to show you. If you had invested $100 in Hex 2 years ago, now you would have $1 million. That's how big this coin was. It created literal billionaires in the last 2 years. So this project has been running for a lot of time and it has gone 10,000x. Back to Richard Hart. Richard Hart is the person who created Hex. Richard Hart is the person who made everyone billionaires. That's why he has so many supporters. So Richard Hart made Hex and then he made PulseChain. PulseChain is the successor. PulseChain is the successor of Hex, the coin which went 10,000x. So Richard Hart, or his actual name, Richard James Schuler, is the person who made Hex and then thought that he should make PulseChain, which is a fork of Ethereum. So he made PulseChain over here. Invest in your future, the faster, smarter, energy efficient crypto network, decentralized and censorship resistant PulseChain or pulsechain.com. So the PulseChain was made by Richard Hart. Now, but what is PulseChain? What is PulseChain? PulseChain is basically an ecosystem. I'm going to explain to you before investing in an before investing in a project, you need to know what are you investing in, what system are you investing in, what project are you investing in. So let me explain this to you in simple terms. Okay. So PulseChain, what is PulseChain? PulseChain over here. PulseChain is a simple blockchain. PulseChain is a simple blockchain, just like Ethereum over here. Learn, use, build, participate. Ethereum is its own blockchain. So PulseChain is a fork of that blockchain, and it is a decentralized blockchain. PulseChain is the Pulse PLS, the coin, the main coin I'm talking to you about here today. Here, PLS, it's a gas token over here. You can see it's a gas token. Gas token means that whichever transaction you want to do, there's usually a fine. Okay, there's usually a fine for a transaction so that the companies they can earn money because Pulse Chain Pulse Chain needs money to survive. They need money for updates and upgrades, like Ethereum and Binance and Uniswap and any other. So they need money. So that's why they take whenever you make a transaction, they take a fee from you. So basically, PLS is the gas token of the decentralized system of the decentralized Bitcoin system. Pulse chain has the exact same role as Ethereum over here. It has the exact same role with the wallets, and you can receive, send. You have crypto like Ether and Dai and Uniswap. It's the exact same role as Ethereum, but Pulse chain, the thing Richard Hart tried to change on Pulse chain is that he tried to make it so there are faster transactions. He tried to make lower fees and he tried to make so that there's no owner. So that's Pulse Chain. And moving on to Pulse Chain's brother, we can say. But this Pulse Chain, the second part of the ecosystem. Now, of course, you have the blockchain where you have a blockchain and you have a coin for gas fees, but where will you actually make the transactions? Here we have PulseX, the number one DEX decentralized exchange on Pulse Chain. Pulse Chain over here. PulseX is the number one decentralized exchange or DEX on Pulse Chain. Every trade on PulseX buys and burns a bit of crypto, which drives scarcity, which drives demand, and which makes potential price go up. So this is the most liquid exchange on Pulse Chain, but this is basically an exchange like Uniswap. You've heard of Uniswap. Uniswap is where you exchange like Ethereum, where you exchange Ethereum and you can get any other coin. Like let's say we want Solana, so we can say that we are exchanging a hundred $100 of Ethereum and we get this much Solana. So PulseX is the same. PulseX is a decentralized exchange on crypto, which has the same. Which it's basically like over here. PulseChain is a fork of Ethereum. So PulseX is a fork of Uniswap. This is the same method as Uniswap, but it's created by Richard Hart. For PulseX, it's tried to have no owner. Of course, Uniswap is decentralized as well, but PulseX is also decentralized. It's competing with Uniswap. It has lower fees, etc., etc. Let me show you the fees. I'm gonna go here to trade now to make a transaction. Okay, here we're gonna launch PulseX software, and here we have the standard two coins of the PulseChain ecosystem, which they have put on here for standard. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna change them to more common known coins. We're gonna go to USDT, and what we're gonna receive, we're gonna receive wrapped Ethereum. So let's say we want around $100 of USDT. Here we get 0.052 dollar 0.052 Ethereum. This is because Ethereum is very high, so let me change that to, let's say, if I put $4,000 Ethereum, we want $4,000 Ethereum, so we get 2.07 Ethereum. But this is the fee down here. This is the fees all right here. Look, the fee paid to the network to process your transaction, like a fee to from for a toll booth or something. This must be paid in PLS. This must be paid in this pulse chain, as the pulse chain is the gas token of PulseX. So it must be paid in pulse chain. So basically that's the ecosystem. We have pulse chain, then we have PulseX. Okay, so here's the coin for PulseChain. Here's the, which is 0.00000094 dollars right now. Then we have PulseX, which is the buy and burn main coin of over here. Like you could say like Binance. Binance is also like this. Binance is a trading system. It's a number one customer access, blah blah blah. It's the number one exchange for crypto. So they have their own coin. Binance launched their own coin, which can be traded on Binance, which is BNB. BNB right here, 601 price, $601. So basically, PulseX's price over here, PulseX's main coin over here is PulseX, PLSX. Then there's other projects as well, PRVX, incentive, and this as well, blah blah blah. So there are multiple projects, but the main two projects are PulseX and Pulse Chain and PulseX. So let's move on to why should we invest in this, or why should we not invest in this. Let's go over to the good points and the risks. So first of all, why do people? We need to understand, why does the community think that this is better than Ethereum? Number one and biggest thing is over here in transactions. Over here in transactions, the fee paid is way less than Ethereum. The fee paid is way less than Ethereum. People, and that's the number one reason why people invest in this. They think that something better than Ethereum, it's about to take over Ethereum, right? And Ethereum's very big, so if Pulse Chain takes over Ethereum costs $4,000. It costs $2,000 right now. So if Pulse Chain gets the same amount of control over the market, maximum it's gonna go to a lot. So lower fees is the number one reason why people invest so much. Number two, Pulse Chain has survived for years. In fact, Pulse Chain was launched 3 years ago. It competes with high class things like Ethereum and Uniswap and Binance. It competes with them, yet it has still survived for 3 years and is still growing. So people think that there's stability in this project, not in the coin. Of course, I mean, look at this. There's no stability here, but in the project, it's gonna grow. Okay, and what's more, they have a dedicated creator. Look, Richard Hart, he has had some lawsuits in the past, but 20 May 7, 2027, he won it, and he uploaded this video. That's basically had some lawsuits by the SEC on different topics. So he uploaded this video here to show that he won the lawsuit. So he won the lawsuit. He has a couple other lawsuits as well. So people think that when he wins those lawsuits, he'll come back to this project. He'll start upgrading it, he'll start advertising it again, and this project will finally go to the top. So that's the thing. That's why people say that you should invest in Pulse Chain. That's why people say that Pulse Chain is the next future Ethereum. However, there are a lot of risks leading to this project as well. Of course, there isn't just one This just isn't just a magical project where it's all sunshine and rainbows. There's obviously a lot of risks related to this project. First of all, the risk is that it's very volatile. Here you can see that every single project, it is very volatile. Over here, volatile. Pulse X is a great example of being volatile. Look at this. Full it is not The projects are not very stable, so is the deal with incentive, and so is it with here. So the thing is that Pulse Chain's coin is very volatile. The project itself is growing, but the coins and the tokens, they keep being going up down up down. So that's why Pulse Chain is always staying very controversial, and that's why it stays controversial because the coins are not stable. The owner of Pulse Chain, the not the owner, the creator of Pulse Chain is not very stable. So stable, I mean, he remains controversial. So that's why people criticize Pulse Chain for trying to copy off Ethereum, even though they try to upgrade Ethereum. They say that they try to copy off Ethereum to make Pulse Chain, and they think it's cheap, even though it has their own goals, which works over here, as you can see. So that's the thing. That's the risks. Another risk is that competition is very, very intense. Pulse Chain is and PulseX are competing with the silver lining of crypto. They're competing with Ethereum. Ethereum, which is right now, let me show you. Ethereum is the second biggest coin in the world right now, second biggest token with a market cap of $231 billion. So Pulse Chain is competing with Ethereum, and people think that that's not gonna work out. That's not gonna work out. Why? Because as we can see over here, let me type it for you. As you can see it over here, its price is very less all time. All times price is very less, and let's go to over here and go to trade Pulse Chain. Loading where we can trade it with Pulse Hacks. The thing is, its price is very low. And its market price, which is around 600,000 to $1 million, is low as well compared to Ethereum. And people think that Pulse Chain can't compete with Ethereum, and that's too much. Because Pulse Chain is competing with Ethereum, then it's competing with Binance as well, then it's competing with Uniswap as well. So people think that this can't happen. So the truth is that no one really knows what can happen. Some people are towards the cons, some people are towards the pros that this will go up. No one can actually know. So bottom line is, the investors say that we should invest in this coin because they think that if Richard Hart wins his current lawsuits, which is like a lawsuit from the European government, from Interpol, he got a red notice. So if he wins these lawsuits, he'll come back to Pulse Chain, he'll start upgrading it again, and it's already showing decent and steady growth. It will start growing so much more, and people think that this is the future Ethereum, and this is the successor, as this is the successor of Hex. This is gonna do exactly what Hex did or more. People saw that over there, you saw Over there, you saw that they had 0.0000094 price. So it can go to $1 or so it can at least go to 1 cent. People think that's gonna go high because of compounding growth, and it's gonna go at least 100x. So people think that this is the next hacks, which and the next investment should do. But of course, everything can't be true. Everything is theorized. This is a belief. This is a belief by the Richard Hart supporters, by the crypto supporters, as critics say that this is kind of bad. But before investing in this coin, I want you to do something, and I want you to do your own research, because you can't just listen to any other friend who talks about Richard Hart or PulseChain, any other friend who says not to talk about, talks negative about Richard Hart, PulseChain, because everyone tells their side of the story, not the side of the story which is true. They speak their opinion. So make sure to do your own research, and make sure that this is not financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. So make sure to like and subscribe, and subscribe, and share this video with others, with your crypto buddies, so they can also not miss out on the opportunity for the future Ethereum, to see if they should actually buy future Ethereum or not.